All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Bad Luck Garage. So our last DR Nova video didn't go too well. We did our first start on the Nova and we had coolant gushing from the back of the heads. I think it was the cheap head gaskets that I had bought, so we took the heads off just to be sure. We took them to a machine shop. I believe Ray has picked them up at this point. So I've just got to get those heads back, and we'll be getting it back together and hopefully starting it up again, and this time for good. But in the meantime, I do have some other stuff that I do still need to do to the Nova, and in this video we're going to be taking care of what is a really common problem on the 69 through 74 Novas, and like the older 60s Camaros as well, and that's the heater controls here. Well, heater or air, whatever, but you know, they've got a bad habit of breaking off, and I don't mean, you know, just the knobs here breaking off, but actually the whole lever breaks off in here. So what I've done is I have ordered this kit. I believe it was about $35 from Cold Air Products, or I'm sorry, Old Air Products. And again, this is for 69 through 74 Novas and 69 Camaros, and it comes with 3 new levers and 3 new knobs. Now, I apologize for not showing how this comes out, but the fact of the matter is we already had the dash apart because we're working on putting some custom gauges in. So I will tell you this: in the dash there's a screw that goes up into this screw hole here, and there is 2 screws that come in from the bottom on these 2 screw holes. I'm assuming you don't have to take the whole gauge cluster out to get this out, but I don't know, it just seems like it would be a real pain in the rear to get all your cables unhooked if you didn't just go ahead and take the whole gauge cluster out. So I would recommend just taking all the screws out of the gauge cluster, pulling it out, then you go back. You have these push nuts that actually go, see if I can bring one up and show you. Your cables actually bolt here and here and up here, yeah, over here, and they run through and they slip over these little nubs, and you got these little push-on nuts, little retainer clips here holding them on. What I like to do, and you know, if you guys know a trick for this, let me know because I don't know any way to do it easily. What I usually do is I just take a screwdriver and get it up under it and twist, get it loose, or sometimes you can grab them with a pair of needle nose and wiggle them and pop them off. They usually go flying when you do it either way, so just make sure you keep an eye on where they go. But that leaves us to where we are, which is with the unit out here, and I've got to get all these knobs and stuff out of here. So I'm going to be honest with you guys, not sure how to do it, but this kit does come with instructions. And by the way, here's the part number right here, and I will be putting a link, eBay link for this kit in the description of this video. So if you need to do this, if you've bought an old Nova used, you probably do need to do this. Link will be in the description. Like I said before, I have never done this, so we're going to kind of learn together. This is what all comes in the kit, well, minus these old clips here. It comes with 3 new push clips, comes with the control levers, and 3 new buttons here. So first thing I'm going to do is try to figure out how to get the old levers out. Let's see if the instructions tell us anything. So the instructions tell us to remove this front cover here by bending back these 4 retaining tabs. So that's what we're going to do. Now the instructions actually warn us that if we bend these too far, they will break. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to stick a screwdriver in here and twist a little. It looks like it's almost straight. And then I'm going to stick it in this end, or behind here, and twist a little and see if I can just, yeah, see, that pops it loose right there. So that's going to be my method with all 4 of them. And that's what happens when your pry and twist goes wrong. This is how you don't want to pry this off. Just hacked my finger up pretty good there. Alright, so after cutting 1/4 of my pinky nail off, we got these tabs pried off. The interesting thing is I'm not sure how I'm going to get them back on, but we're not worried about that right now. For the time being, I'm just worried about stretching this out. And it looks like if I pull the only remaining knob on here off, I should be able to access all the control arms, or break it off. Yeah, well, breaks pretty easy. So after that, the faceplate's off. I really wish we had bought a new faceplate here, because you can see the plastic's got cracks in it and stuff. We might do that at a later time. Ray wasn't too concerned about it. He just wanted functioning knobs. So this is what you're left with right here. And at this point, should be able to just kind of slide these out the open end here. Yep, just like that. And this is what we're left with. Next thing we need to do is remove these really weird looking clips here. Now on the new knobs, it's just got the little push tabs. Wow, that's bleeding pretty good. It's just got the little push tabs on it here that these little guys are going to push on. So it really doesn't matter if we damage the ends of this at all. What I'm going to do is try a combination of, probably the screwdriver, maybe some needle nose pliers, and pretty much just try to rip these old retaining clips off. So I got it down to this point right here, and now I'm, where I can actually maybe get a pair of dikes under it. So now I'm going to attempt to break the end off here. So just a little update with the other, with the second one, I was able to already figure out a little trick. So basically I just used the screwdriver and my needle nose to pull one side, like dissect one side of it. And then I was able to take my dikes and kind of grab it and break it a little. Then I was just able to come in here with some really small needle nose and just pop up on it and pop it out. So yeah, the first one took me a little while, but the other two, that's the easiest way I could figure out to take them off. So we're just going to take our new ones, put them in like so, and put our little push clips on them. Just like that. And we'll take our needle nose and just squeeze, make sure the push clip is all the way on. And that's on there. Next thing we're going to do is slide our new little controls back into our plastic panel. Now this can only go on one way. If you see, it's flat here, it's not flat over here. Well, you look at this guy here and you see it's got this big protruding part, so obviously, that's where the flat part goes. This part locks into here. So we'll just line all these guys up like so and slide them in. Go. More. There it is. Now I'm just going to kind of hold this together and make sure everything's working correctly. And it appears to be. Yep, you can see the operation. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to come in here before I do the final assembly, and I'm going to put a little grease here, and probably a little grease on this joint and this joint, and maybe even put a little grease on the sides of the slides here so that these controls can operate more freely, and hopefully we don't break them off again. And it's just easy does it here, guys. You don't want to just slather on grease. I just put it in a few key spots, like on this guy back here, where this little plastic roller goes through this little Z pattern. We just put a little bit of grease inside that Z, put a little bit of grease at all the joints here, and just a very thin coating where the controls slide back and forth. And already, I mean, this, yeah, it's working 10 times better, a lot more smooth, except for the last one, which, you know, it's not gonna be smooth because of this mechanism back here. But yeah, there's that. So now it is time to put our front panel back on, and this I'm a bit worried about because I did not bend these tabs out very much at all. I mainly just pried them off. So what I may actually have to do is take a pair of pliers like this and go ahead and bend the tabs out a little, and then once I get them on there, I may actually have to take a hammer and tap them down, but we'll see. I'll try to just cram it on first and see how that goes. Okay, so all the tabs are in their correct position except for this last one right here, and I'm hoping what I can do is apply pressure like this, just squeezing it, and maybe put my screwdriver in here and twist. It is right there. One more pressure. There we go. That one popped right in. So they're all in. The controls are working well. This one over here is notchy, of course, because it's supposed to be. But the panel is slightly loose because we did have to bend these tabs slightly. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold it together like this, and I'm going to take a small hammer and a little patience, and I'm just going to try to go around and tap all these. This is just pot metal, guys. I'm going to go around and try to tap on all these and hopefully bend them over slightly until this stops moving around. It's got a little bit of wiggle in it, but, well, no more than it had before. So I got them bent over as much as I could. I'm afraid if I try to hammer on it anymore, I'm going to break them because, like I said, this is pot metal. What would be really nice, actually, is if I could squeeze. You know what? I think if I take this front plate off, then I could probably just take a pair of pliers like this and squeeze the tabs down, and that would probably make it even more tight. But I mean, I'm fine with it the way it is. Once it's mounted and the pressure is on this back piece from the cables going through it, it's not going to even have that play in it. It's all, everything's going to be kind of held in place. So there's that. Now we'll just stick our knobs on. I don't think it matters which way they go. It looks like it's it, guys. Knobs are on. Everything's working good. Just have to reinstall it back in the car. You can see where I took all the cables apart and I actually labeled them bottom and top driver's side, top passenger side. So basically all I'm going to do is take these cables, see where it's got the little circle in it. I'm going to slide them over the corresponding nub right here. Then I'm going to put one of these push nuts on, and then each one of these cables have a little bracket on there, and this little screw will go into the side of it, and I believe it is a 5/16. Yep, 5/16 socket is what I use to take them all off. So there is no place for me to set this camera up to record while I'm doing this, but I'm going to go ahead and get it put in. I'm not putting the dash in yet, but you can at least kind of see how all the cables are hooked up once I'm finished. Others were too hard to get to, and I had to twist it and things to film, but I can show you the last connection here. You can see the end of the cable just slides on over that. And I'm going to take my little push nut. I'm going to push him on there just to get him started. I'll take the same 5/16 socket that I'm using to put the screws in, put it over the push nut, and push it. So now it's seated on there. Then at the back we have this little plastic collar, so I'm just going to, and it's going to take me 2 hands, I'm going to move the plastic collar back from around the cable there and line it up with this hole. Then I'm just going to put the screw in and tighten it down. Now you can see when I move the new knobs, the cables are working. Push that one a little too far. Yeah, you can see all the cables are working. This guy is, there's going to be a screw that goes up here, but it actually goes through the gauge trim bezel there, and then there'll be screws in the bottom that secure it as well. I can't do that for you right now because I'm not finished with the gauges, but once the gauges video is finished, you can check that out and see how I put all the trim back in. And that's it, guys. The heater controls are fixed. I know this wasn't the normal like instructional type video I usually do with this type of thing, but like I said in the beginning of the video, this was my first time doing this, so we kind of learned together. And you know, it really is a pretty simple task. Just try not to cut your finger off like I did. Every time I mention my finger, you notice it gets worse and worse. But anyway, guys, as I said, I will put a link to the kit in the description of this video. So if you like this video or it helped you out, make sure you give it a thumbs up, share it with someone else who might need it, and get out in the garage, get something done, and I'll see you next time here on Bad Luck Garage.